everybody, and welcome to the Simple Cooking with Heart kitchen and my home. I am Chef Stephanie Rose, and I am going to take you through this recipe tonight. Got lots of mise en place in front of me. I just like to give everybody just a couple more minutes to join in. And what are we doing tonight? We're going to be doing some delicious pork chops in this lovely peach sort of jammy, thymy, balsamic glaze. And then we have some roasted broccoli and sweet potatoes to go with it. So if you're cooking, get all your ingredients together and wash your hands. So we all like to wash our hands. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands too. And hopefully you've washed your produce as well. And make sure you've got your peelers, because we're going to have to peel. And I actually, we've got some meat here. I have some lovely cipollini's. And I just wanted to give you an idea. They look really beautiful tonight. Check it out. And this, you can see there's 3 of them here. I asked for the thin cut, but I didn't get it. This is what I got. They're beautiful. But what we do want to do is cut off all the fat. So that's why I have a separate cutting board, and I'm going to cut them and make them a little bit thinner. And I have a different knife too for this. I usually use a thinner, more flexible one. And if you could see, I've got there's some fat along the edge here. So I want to cut that off carefully without cutting off too much of the meat. So sometimes it can be trickier than others. If you've got a good technique you want to share, be my guest. So cut this off. Yay. Get rid of that. And there's a little bit over here. We are trying to be healthy, so we definitely don't want all of the fat. Otherwise, these are pretty darn lean chops. Again, 1 pound is all we need. And really, each portion should be 4 ounces. So cut that in half. There we go. I think that's a very nice size here for the portion. That's about 4 ounces. Usually it's about the size of a deck of cards. I love that that image. So you keep that image in your head, and that way you'll have a good idea of what a 4 ounce portion looks like. Again, cut off all that fat. And if you have any silver skin, you may want to cut that off too. And if you have one on a bone, I know the bone has so much flavor. I mean, you could use it if it was really thin, but again, cut off all the fats. It's not that hard, actually. There we go. Oh, cut it in half, cut it in half. You see how I cut it in half here? I put my hand on top, and I usually start at, oh, there's more fat. Go away. Usually start at the fattest side, which I guess is here, and just try to cut it as evenly as possible. The more evenly it is, the more uniform it'll cook. Well, this is my last kind of a funky little piece here, but I'm going to use it anyway. Cut that off. Cut off this little bit here. And again, cut that in half. Could actually kind of butterfly it. Oh, it looks like a heart. Almost. A heart with a hole. Okay, well, I'll just cut it all the way through. Somebody's going to get a little bit more. Beautiful. Now, ideally, it would be wonderful if this could marinate, for 35 to 40 minutes. I'm going to move this all now because I am done cutting up my meat. And I do not want to cross contaminate. Throw this over here. And of course, I must wash my hands again after touching the meat. So quiet. Not used to that. Okay, so the marinade, we're going to get a half a cup of balsamic vinegar, which I love. I've got some of that right here. And then we need to chop up some garlic. I think it says two pieces, 3 pieces, whatever. So just let's make sure we're holding our knives correctly. We like to do the pinching the blade technique. For those of you that are my regulars, I know you already know. Use a nice sharp knife too, okay? So thumb on the blade at the end, I've got a little indentation on mine, towards the handle, your other pointer finger on the other side. So we're sort of straddling it, and then put your other fingers around the handle like that. Okay, now I'm going to cut off just that, dried up gnarly bit on the end here. Get rid of that. Makes it easier. We got all this paper. Okay. And now I love doing this. Listen for it. Lay it flat. Put your knife on top. Blade pointing away from you, and then come down and smash it. And you're going to hear it kind of smush. And this is going to help us get all that papery stuff off. Okay. One more. Hey, and if this, isn't your cup of tea, you can always use the pre-chopped garlic. Nothing wrong with that. Again, if you don't want to chop it up, hurt your wrist. Sometimes my wrist hurts too. Get your garlic press out. We are big fans of garlic presses here. I actually went out and bought one recently, which is highly unusual. That's because I couldn't find my mother's. And then I found hers. So now I have 2. So I get rid of all that papery flyaway stuff. It sticks. Everything starts getting sticky, with the garlic. Your hands get sticky. It sticks to everything. Okay, then I'll just sort of pile it together. And I've got my other hand. You can see everything's curled under, So the knife is really just going to touch my knuckles. And then I'm just going to chop away. I like to keep my cutting board, my knife on the cutting board. I'm not doing this kind of thing. And then carefully get that off, and then keep doing it again. This is actually, I do change my grip a little. If you caught that, I relax it. Relax my hand. I put my left hand, if you're right-handed, put it on the blade on the top here, just so I can keep it down. And then my right hand is more relaxed, a little further down on the handle. Keep all your fingers up. Pay attention what you're doing. And there you have it. And a nice sweep. Put it back into a little pile and go over it again. 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 There we go. We have a good time. We do love garlic, the bulb of life. And I'm going to go ahead and mix it in with my half a cup. Seems like a lot, right? Half a cup of vinegar. Put that in there. Get all the little sticky bits. Get in there. Don't want that. Don't know what that is. Where that come from. All right. What else do we get in here? I think we get a little bit of olive oil as well. That gets mixed in here. 1 tablespoon. Use a nice olive oil. Why not? Extra virgin tablespoon. There we go. There you go. That's the tablespoon. That works for me. Let's mix this up a little bit. I think I've got it. Balsamic vinegar, garlic, olive oil. And this is Gonna be our easy peasy marinade, and I'm gonna pour half. Gotta read your instructions. Honestly, I think I read the instructions and then I reread them, and then I just read it again and realized I need to save half of the mixture. So I'm really, how do I miss that? I don't know. I don't know how that happens, but it does. So it just, just to make sure you remember to read things closely. So here we have our beautiful pork. I'm just gonna kind of mush it around a little bit. And so this is going to get to marinate a little bit, right? Because we do have a bunch of other things that we have to cut up and prep. So, hey, if we only get, 20 minutes, so be it. I'm happy with that, right? Lovely. Lovely. I don't often have pork, but you know what? If you don't want to have pork, I mean, you could totally do this with chicken. I can completely see this happening with turkey. Fish, not so much. But certainly chicken. Oh yeah. Okay. Lovely. Okay, so that's gonna sit back here, and then I'm gonna tend to that later. I hope you have preheated your oven. So go ahead. If you did, go turn that on real quick to 350. And now we're going to peel some sweet potatoes. So calls for 2 small ones. I know sometimes that it's hard to find. Everything is so gargantuan these days. So I've got my handy dandy peeler, and I'm just going to peel away. I like to take it down a little further till I get to that beautiful orange coloring. I'm sure you all know how to peel. Be careful. Go all the way around. And then we're just going to dice this into nice bite-sized pieces. Now, I like to do this in, real time. So everybody that is cooking along with me, I don't get too far ahead. It's not the television Food Network. I only cheat on a few things. And I did cheat a little bit. You'll see. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get these into the oven and roasted in time. So I will have a swap out with the oven roasted vegetables. Now, and if you need to buy these already diced, I think some stores may have that available. I know they have the the broccoli florets already cut into little pieces. And I actually bought some of those to save a little time. But then when I opened them up, and this happens a lot, which is very aggravating, they were kind of yellow around. They weren't a beautiful bright green. So I was very disappointed, but I was able to get my money back. But then of course I had to order some more. So this is, I have a beautiful crown in front of me. Okay, that's not so bad. Get rid of those bad boys. Put that over here. And then I usually kind of cut off the little tip part. No reason, just because. Cut those off. If it kind of discolors a little, it might be a sign that it's a little old. So you see any of that, go ahead and take that off. Remember, you want it nice and bright and green. Okay, so if you want to cut them up really small, they'll cook faster. Now, careful when you're cutting it. It's very hard, okay? So just try to get your knife in there as much as you can, and then put your weight of your body in here to cut it in half, okay? And if you need to work in a smaller pieces, go right ahead. And I'm straddling it, and then I'm going to cut it in half. Straddle cut it in half. So this will make it easier. Then I can lay it flat and cut it into some strips. You can either do it in half like that, which is I think what I did, and put a little weight to it on the top. And then I'm going to turn it and slice it into little bite-sized pieces. If you can only do one, go ahead. Just always err on the safe side. No rushing. Rushing is never a good idea when you're cooking and cutting things up in the kitchen, because that's when accidents can happen, and we don't want that. Okay, here we go. I would have never thought about mixing and roasting sweet potatoes together with broccoli. I thought the broccoli might just cook too quickly. And when I tested it, actually, it did cook a little quicker than the sweet potatoes. So depending on how roasted you like your, how crispy, shall we say, you like your broccoli, like I said, you can add it at the beginning, you know, or you could do them a little separate and add it a little bit at the end. So finally, look, this is a beautiful crown. I love it. The bouquet. You know, you can eat the stems too. So you can save those and shred them. Of course, they will cook a little bit longer. I'm just cutting them off for now because I'm not going to use them for this recipe. You can make a nice slaw out of it. So there's no point in, you know, wasting it. So we only need 2 cups of the broccoli. So I'm going to just try to cut it again. You know, if there's some pretty florets, you just break them off. Again, bite-sized pizzas. Bite-sized pizzas. Big and chunky. Or you could cut up a lot of this, you know, and you could put some out in a bowl for your family to nibble on with some healthy hummus or something. I think that looks like 2 cups. Actually, it does. This is quite a bit. Save that, nibble on later. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and, you know, mix it all together in my mixing bowl here. And look at my cheat sheet and remember, what am I putting on it? Okay. Pretty sure we've got some chili powder. I'm gonna spice it up a little bit. This is when my moderator comes in handy. Okay, the veggies. So yes, chili powder. I'm gonna add that. Little chili powder. Voila. Pepper, lots of pepper, right? Pepper, 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 pepper. This is freshly ground pepper. I love pepper. And then, that vinegar mixture. Would have never remembered. Thank goodness I went back and looked at it. Lots and lots of flavor. You notice no salt. Won't really need any of that salt because we have the vinegar, and that has that wonderful little trick, you know, in your mouth. Makes you not really want the salt. I don't know how it does that, but I like it. Now give this a good stir. Good stir. It's actually, this is going to be really quite colorful. And I know peaches are not in season right now. So I bought some, and just for show, they're hard as rocks. I doubt they're going to be tasty at all. Now get yourself a baking tray and spread this out on your baking tray and put it in your oven. So hurry, hurry, hurry. And it's going to be good. I may just have to, I bet this would be good just dumped on the broccoli by itself. Delicious. Delicious. See, here's my 25, 40 minutes later. Look, oh my goodness. It's cooked. How about that? Got to do what you got to do, right? So what do we have next here? I've got to get the the sauce ready. So I know what I need for the sauce is some thyme. And I have some lovely fresh thyme. You don't have fresh thyme, it's totally fine to use some dried thyme, but just use less of it. I believe the recipe calls for, if you've got fresh, a lot. A lot. That's a technical account number, right? Maybe a tablespoon, I think you can go with. Tablespoon of thyme. Lovely. I mean, you could chop it up a little bit just to bring out more of the flavor. I know that's definitely not going to be enough here. Thyme. Yes, you have to get the leaves off of the branch. Those ones at the top, the little baby ones, that you can throw in because that's a real tender branch. And then you could also, save this stem, still has tons of flavor in there. So if you wanted to just throw that in your freezer, you can still use it if you run out of time making a soup. I love thyme. Yes. And it takes time to get these leaves off. Not my favorite job in the kitchen. I would cringe if I was told I had to pick thyme. I felt like it was a punishment. Oh, go and pick thyme. Oh, okay, thanks. Not fun. It's just kind of like boiling the eggs, peeling the eggs for egg salad. These are not my favorite jobs. All right, does that look like about a tablespoon? Maybe a little bit more, because thyme is one of my favorite herbs and easy to grow. Comes back in my garden. I have a couple different kinds of thyme. You could totally use, lemon thyme for this also. That would give a nice little zestier flavor to it, you think? Okay. I think that looks about like a tablespoon. Again, if you're using the dried stuff, you will only need a teaspoon. Okay. My cheat sheet here again. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it my way or follow the recipe. Now the recipe has you cooking the meat separately from the sauce. So what I wanted to do was cook the meat, sear it in the pan, and then have all that wonderful drippings from the bottom of the pan into the sauce. So, but I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it the way the recipe was written. And I thought about it a little bit more, and I thought maybe, the meat sometimes, has the white stuff that comes out when you're cooking it. I'm like, the sauce might not look as pretty. So maybe that's the reason why they are doing it this way. So I'm going to put that on a low heat. I think I get to add my peaches. I don't know about y'all, but I could not find frozen peaches anywhere. I mean, what happened to the peaches? There was a run on peaches, they were picked in the summer and frozen, but there weren't any. So if you do have to use a can, please use the one, that is not in syrup. If it's in the syrup, go ahead and rinse it. That would be a good idea. And then we want you to use a lovely fruit, like all fruit spread. That's just the fruit and no sugar. And I know there's plenty of those out there. And we get a nice amount too. Look at that. Yum. So here I have a cup of peaches that I used. The can, it wasn't bad. So the one I found is a yellow, and they're just in their own juice. So I know it is doable. Okay, so we've got the thyme. I'm going to put a little cayenne, thyme, peaches, and preserves. So let's go. The peaches are going in. And the thyme's going in. Isn't that pretty? I almost want to get that on. I would like to pin that, spotlight that, just so you can see, because it looks so pretty. Looks so pretty. I'm putting in, I know the recipe. What was the cayenne? It was a little question mark. And I think that's because it's however much you want to put in, okay? Just a scant. I know the spice, you know, we like the spice. And then I'm going to put in the fruit spread. Ooh. I guess if you can't find peach, you know, you could totally do apricot. Why not? Just make sure it's all fruit. Doesn't that look pretty? Now we get a little bit of vinegar. I'm almost a little hesitant. I wish I had some of the white balsamic vinegar for this. Okay, just a little bit of vinegar goes into this. And we're going to just stir that up and let it simmer. Okay. Lovely. Very nice. Of course, like I said, if you're using the frozen peaches, let them thaw. The pan peaches, rinse them. And now I'm going to move that to the back burner. Let me turn that on. Put it on low. And let's get my brand new nonstick pan, which I'm so excited about. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Get my meat ready to go in. Turn it a little bit. Now, you know, once we've taken the meat out of here, this extra liquid, we have to throw it away. There we go. Spray your pan with some cooking spray. Let's let that get hot a little bit. Everything is cooking. Well, we're cooking with gas here, right? See if I can figure out how to unpin this. Come back. Okay. And now I'm back. Here I am. All righty. So everything's roasting, right? In your oven. This is gonna be a real hearty meal, let me tell you. You get a nice big portion. Totally a family meal. I guess, you know, you could do a salad on the side if you were feeling it. Let me get my spoon and keep an eye on your sauce, okay? It's got a lot of sugar. We do not want it to burn, but we do want to get it a little bubbly, just a little bit, and it'll thicken up really beautifully. Don't you love my pan? You know, you cannot keep nonstick pans for very long. They really, you know, once it starts getting scraped up, you really need to chuck it and buy a new one, which is one of the reasons I don't normally spend a lot of money on my nonstick pans. But I had a hard time finding one that had a lid. So I was very excited when I found this one. So get your meat and let's, you know, shake it. And let's put one little one in. Yeah, maybe it's not hot enough. You really do want to hear, a sear. Ah, I do hear. I hear a little bit. I don't know if you can, but I hear a little bit. I like. You can also, that's better. Shake. You don't want to crowd the dish, okay? And I think these are all going to fit in here perfectly. Oh yeah, where to go? There you go. And you don't want to burn the garlic. So once they're all in, definitely going to bring the temperature down a little bit. So you don't want to move them around too much, okay? I know it's really tempting to want to play with your food, but resist the temptation. So we have to be patient. You may, if you have your veggies in the oven, you may want to give them a stir. Like I said, don't forget your saucy. Just give that a stir. And then, of course, taste it. Mm-hmm. Oh, I can taste the thyme. Very nice. And it's actually not too sweet. So I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. Move back. Now I was wondering what I was going to put this on. If I really kind of wanted it all to be on a beautiful platter, what I was thinking, you know, to make a dramatic presentation at the table. So I wanted this to use this beautiful plate that I got from my mother. I don't remember where it's from, but it's gorgeous and it's bright, you know, and spring is here. I almost picked some beautiful flowers from my plum tree outside just to add to the set and make it look beautiful. Well, my sauce is definitely simmering nicely. Now I put this one in first. Let me see if it's got a little color. This is not my hottest burner, actually. You know, and the pork really shouldn't take too long. I know a lot of people think they need to cook the pork until it's no longer pink. But actually, I believe you can these days cook it to 145. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it has to be much higher than that. We wanted this one of them is really quite thick. So I'm going to turn my sauce down because it is definitely okay. Well, it's pretty much down, about as down as it can be. So really, this recipe is pretty darn fast. So there's the big fat daddy. Just pressing them down. Make sure they're all kind of touching the. It's the first time I've used this pan. Okay, I'm too impatient. I'm going to turn them over now. Okay. Too patient. Oh, look at that one. That's a nice color. I hope there's not too much glare and you can see it. Well, I'm glad I'm turning them over. Everything else has got some good color. Check that out. Cooking. They look beautiful. Maybe I can spread my vegetables on my beautiful platter. This is how I'm going to do it. Oh, yeah. Ow, hot. Not exactly. Look how pretty those look there. Fantastic. Okay, now I'm going to turn my meat down a little bit. Definitely got some good color. Of course, that's going to add flavor. My sauce is certainly done. I'm going to take that off the heat. Turn that burner off. And I actually have a little ladle thing, little gravy boat. Pour that in the gravy boat. Ooh la la. One did not want to come out. And I actually think these are cooked. Delicious. See all that loveliness at the bottom of this pan? That's called flavor. Flavor. So I'm going to take that one, leave that one in last. Just start placing these on top of this beautiful bed of deliciousness here. There we go. Look pretty, but I still want you to see some of the vegetables. There we go. There's that last one, that Big Daddy there for the moment. And then we can drizzle some of the lovely peaches and this gorgeous sauce on here. It's nice. The peaches actually held up pretty well. Or you can do that at the table. So that is a pretty plate, right? I love it. Amazing, huh? There's dinner in a flash, right? I know I cheated a little bit, so you time yourself, write it out so you can figure out what to do first. But obviously you want to get your marinade done. I guess you could probably do that the night before even. Hey, how about that? Why not? And here we have a beautiful dinner. I can't wait for my family to get home and serve this to them. I think everybody's going to eat this. How about you? Well, and there you go. I really appreciate you all being here tonight in Simple Cooking with Heart Kitchen, and I hope you enjoyed this. Boy, it smells delicious, this lovely recipe. And join me for more every Thursday evening. Thank you all, and y'all have a great night. Bye-bye.